Every Halloween, are you tired of doing this?
Ooh, I'm a talking skeleton. I am very scary.
Then Scare Dad Halloween Improvement has just what you need. With this modification, you'll be the talk of the town.
Oh my gosh, is that skeleton talking by itself?
Oh, you're so cool.
You have a talking skeleton? I love you so much.
So don't delay. Subscribe, like, and watch today. Warning, watching this video may cause the loss of brain cells. Scare Dad Halloween Improvement is not responsible if family or friends no longer think you're cool after watching this video. Do not eat before watching as the humor contained is known to cause nausea. When the exposure, we suggest you take notes while watching to avoid having to watch multiple times. Actual results may vary. Hi there, welcome to the channel. On Scare Dad today, we are going to take this ultra posable skeleton and we're going to get him talking. So let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we got to do is we've got to take the head off. There are 6 screws. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you've got all the screws out, the head should come apart nice and easy, just like that. So here you see you've got the head and it pops apart into 4 pieces. So you've got the front face, which is wired to the battery pack, and then you've got the 2 separate halves that are kept together by the jaw. We don't need to take the jaw off. So a fun note, if anyone's interested and they don't like these eyes, you can actually unscrew them. Once you've unscrewed this, you can pop out the part with the LED light. And see this plastic eyeball? Slides right out. Put the LED back into place, maybe paint that black, and you'd have an effect similar to the other skeletons. And just so you can see the difference, both look cool. I like the eyeball, so I'm going to keep it in. But you do have that option with these, just so you know. So, whoop, there was a screw in there. Okay, so now we're going to take this part of the skull. And I'm going to try something I've never done. In the past, I've always mounted the servo to the bottom and had it pull the jaw back from here, connecting to this part of the jaw. I'm going to try what I've seen other people do, where they connect it through the skull. So the servo is mounted inside here, and it's just going to push up and down, connected right to this part here. Never done it before? Let's give it a try. So for the mouse servo, I'm going to use this high-tech. It's an HS65HB. Should be enough power. It's a micro server. You can see it's pretty tiny. That's what we're going to use for the jaw. So I'm going to take this servo and put it mounted somewhere over here so that when the arm pulls up and down on the jaw, this arm is aligned up with this mouthpiece right here. First thing I'm going to do, let's drill a hole through the skull. I'm not exactly sure what size I'm going to need. I'm going to start with a 5/32 of an inch, and we're going to get pretty close. If you're looking, this part I want to attach it to is really close to the edge, so I'm going to just come in a little bit from the edge. So as you can see, this is my hole to start. Hopefully that's going to be big enough, but let's find out. So now I'm going to drill a very tiny hole right into here. To make it so the skull doesn't keep popping apart, I'm going to actually throw one of these screws back in. Next, we're going to take this. This is a Dupro 256 threaded ball link. This part right here is what I'm going to start with. I'm going to take this ball link and we're going to try to screw it right into that hole there. So you'll see it is sticking out a little bit here. I'll probably clip that end off after. This part is going to connect to the ball. So that's going to click right on there. So the piece that connects to this should come right through this hole and push it up and down. Before we can connect the servo, we want to take this cross arm off and replace it with the single blade that comes in the package. Simply just unscrew it. Try not to lose the screw. This piece will pop right off. Then you just put this arm on. When you put the arm on, you want to make sure that it's going to turn this way in front of the servo. So that should be good. Put that screw right back in. We should be good to go. So also going to need to use this Dubro 256 swivel ball link. So we're going to want to attach the swivel ball link to the arm right here. We're going to have to be able to fit this piece through right here. So we're going to have to drill out that hole just a little bit. See if that will fit through now. I'm going to try switching to the 3/32 drill bit. You can see it's a little bit bigger than the other holes. And this fits good. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this through the swivel ball link, through the arm of the servo. Then we're going to attach the spacer. And then we're going to put the nut at the end. Okay, there we go. And if you're not sure how to put it together, the inside comes with these handy instructions. You'll see that that moves freely, and that's going to give it the play it needs when the servo arm is moving it. Okay, so now we've got the servo connected to the swivel ball joint. We have got the threaded ball joint in the skull right here. We're going to have to cut a piece of 256 rod that's going to fit between these two pieces. And it'll slide right into both of them. Normally you would put the threaded end into this piece. But I've already used that for another project and I don't want to waste all that rod. So I am going to super glue this piece right in here. I'm going to let this set and dry and then we'll be right back. By the way, this technique using the threaded ball joint and the swivel ball joint, I learned from Kat's Menagerie. I don't know if she's posting anymore. She's actually going to school for animatronics. But check it out. That's how I first learned how to do this, and she has some great stuff. I'll put a link to her channel in the description down below. Okay, so one issue. The glue that I was using was not really strong enough for the amount of force it took to open this. So while I like this idea, and it's worked on past skeletons, because I don't have the threaded end, I'm actually going to remove this threaded ball joint and hook this rod right through the hole. I think that should work fine. So I'm going to take the rod, I'm going to bend an L in it, hook it through just like that. That should work. So we're going to try putting the servo up on the side here. So if this arm goes all the way up, this rod can only go to about here. As you do it, you're going to kind of want to play around with it yourself, see what you think works. Okay, so looking at this, I have an idea. I think I can actually mount the servo on top of the eye here, then press it into this wire. So I'm actually going to pull this off, because that rod's going to have to be a little bit smaller. Okay. I'm going to try to put the servo right on top of the eye here so that it can press down and pull up. There's no easy way to mount it. I'm going to just try to hot glue it in. One thing I'm noticing as the jaw opens, because of the size of this hole, the angle has to go that way. I'm going to see if I can just make the hole bigger so that this can still go pretty much straight up. So I just elongated the hole. That should give us a little bit more room. Now, even when the jaw is opened all the way, this can pretty much go straight up and down. The other thing, if you're not going to use this rope to hang it, you can just leave that tucked right inside the skull when you close it up. Just have that little hole there, nothing coming out. That won't be in the way in here. If you think it will be, just cut it off. So I'm going to push the servo with the arm side down right up against the eye there. Then we're going to just drill a little hole. Did manage to get the corner of that one screw right into the eye there. So now that I got that one screw in, I'm going to hot glue all around the bottom to really hold that servo in place. Okay, so you'll see I went in and put a lot of hot glue on this thing. Make sure I hold it in place really well. So that shouldn't go anywhere. It looks like it's pretty solid. So that's good. Now I need to push this onto the rod. So now that that's attached, see if we can get the skull put back together. The other thing you're going to make sure you want to get is a nice long servo extension. So next we're going to pull the servo wire out just like this, and we're going to attach an extension, black to black, red to red, and in this case yellow to white. Just like that. So now we have all this extra cord to play with for now. So this thing is awesome. This is the Boffintronics Receiver Recorder Board 2 made by Addicore. This thing is great. It's got automatic jaw sync. We just have to record the dialogue we want. This is going to match the jaw up to it. Awesome. Does a great job. All we have to do is go in and set the parameters for the jaw. It's going to take a little bit of experimenting to find out exactly what they are, but once we get that, we'll be set. Now this will be a little bit overboard just to move the jaw, because for $69.50 this can do a lot more. It's got controls for 8 servos, it's got digital outputs here, so you can use this to not only move the jaw, but control other servos on the animatronic. You can turn lights on and off with the digital outputs. So we're going to set up a trigger on this so that somebody walks by the PIR sensor, it's going to set off, it's going to start talking. Very good product. I'm very excited about it. And the best part about this is, so you record all the servos and what they're going to do. This records it and will play it back. So you're basically creating your own retail type animatronic that's got one whole routine recorded and saved. No extra computer needed. You don't have to have this hooked up to a PC or a laptop. This is all you need. That is awesome. So if you look at this, you've got your micro SD card for your MP3 files, for your audio files, and you've got the micro SD card. This is going to have all your commands. This is where you're going to set your parameters for your servos, enable the automatic jaw sync or not. So this is the one we're going to take out first. We got to set our servos so that we're not overextending. Once we figure that part out, then we will record our audio track and put it on here. Let's slide this out and let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to open the Addicore and we're going to go to config. It's going to open it up in Notepad for you. So where you see these are your servo parameters, 1 through 8. Servo number 8 is going to be the one that controls the jaw. So what we're going to do to start, even though our jaw is going to be controlled by 8, I'm going to use number 1 to test it. And I'm going to start with 90 to 120. I want to see what motion that gives us, if that gives us the right thing. We're going to make this 0. So keep the first 2 the same. Going to make this 90, make this 120, turn that to 0, 0, 0. Now we're going to test it out with the controller. Once we get the settings we like, then we're going to change track 8. We want to see we've got the trigger enabled. We're going to use that later. Replay enable. I'm going to shut that off. I don't want it replaying. Audio board enabled. We want that enabled. So what they have, if you see clip 1 and clip 2, for clip 1 you can have an audio track that plays kind of like an ambient noise track that will constantly play and repeat until the trigger goes off. The trigger will make clip 2 go. So when you put your audio file on, the one that you want to speak has to be number 2. You're going to see jaw enabled or not enabled. We have the auto jaw enabled. We've got the E here. That means it's enabled. You'll see it says jaw servo 8 is enabled for audio clip 2. If it's not enabled, servo 8 would be controlled by track 5. We're using it, we don't need to worry about that. I am not going to use an ambient noise clip, so I am going to set this to no. But you would keep that enabled if you wanted to use it. Play audio clip 2 at record and track play record start. You want that, so when you start recording, the audio track's going to start playing so that you can match up all your animations to the audio track. You want to make sure you leave this one, you want to leave enabled. We're going to go to File, Save. We're going to close this, and then we're going to eject it. Now we're going to insert this back in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is hook up this 6 volt 2 amp adapter. You want to make sure it's 6 volts for this. The one I got has this plug. I'm going to put this right in. And then I'm going to run the power wires between this and this. Just going to use a couple of male-in wires and connect them together. Okay, so when I plug this in, this is going to be the black wire. This is the ground, and that's going to be the red wire. That's the positive. These two are actually powered that you can put in just for the servos. Now right now I'm just putting one servo in, so that should be okay powered by these. But if you're using multiple servos here, you're going to want to put an additional power into that. That will power just the servos. And then these connectors here, if you slide these over, then it would use the servo power. But right now it is using the main power, and that's fine for what we're doing. So here we have it wired up. We're going to plug it in and test out the servo. Okay, so to test this out, again, I said I'm going to use servo 1. So that's right here. Black to black. It's pushing up against the max. So I want to change my settings. See it? You can hear it. It's making a buzzing sound. That means the servo is trying to move and it can't. So I need to adjust my settings. So we're going to unplug this, pull this out, and let's try the settings again. Okay, so what's happening is the servo is moving it very slowly. I think this jaw is too tight to the servo. So I need to either put in a stronger servo, or we're going to need to find a way to loosen the jaw. So let's think about that. So I went in and I cut this piece off on this side. I'm going to do the same thing here so the jaw comes off. Draw a hole through, put the rod through. I think we'll be good. I'm just using a little simple blade, just be careful. I kind of just stick it in and pop it right off. So now I get the holes a little bit bigger, so let's try it out. We're going to slide this through. If you look at the difference now, that should be much easier. Let's hook it back up and let's see what happens. So we got it working. You might even be able to get more extension, and all the way closed is making noise. So we want to back off our limits a little bit, and our full limit I think we can even make bigger. So that's good to know. So next we're going to take out the micro SD card for the audio. That's this one right here that stands up a little bit higher. Take this out, let's record an audio track, put it on here, and test the auto motion. So I'm going to use a free program in Audacity. Just going to hit record. You should all like and subscribe to Scare Dad. So we're going to save this as 0002. Now we're going to hook up some speakers. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to pick up some cheap speakers at our local thrift shop. So we're going to plug this in On the audio, you've got audio in and audio out. So we're going to be using the audio out. Plug it right in. So this is the results doing it this way.
You should all like and subscribe to Scare Dad.
Alright, so we have one more thing to do. Let's set up a trigger to it so it can set off with the PIR sensor. Okay, so here is our PIR sensor. And on the back, ground, middle is the output, and this is the power. So when we hook this up, yellow goes to yellow, red goes to red, black goes to black. The second one in, that's the high trigger. Now, the motion sensor should set this off.
You should all like and subscribe to Scare Dad.
And there we have it. So now, let's put it all back together.
For now, I just left the back open. Eventually, you'll want to drill a hole for the wires and close that up. But for access, I'm going to be working on this some more in another project, so I'm just keeping everything open. So one thing I forgot to mention when I originally recorded this is once your track's recorded, you're going to want to hit the record button, which is this third button right here. You're going to hit that, let the audio track play out to completion, and then hit it again. This is going to ensure that the playtime is equal to your audio track. Now there's actually another way to record using this that we're going to use in future projects when there's more than one servo. For this right now we're going to use the basic record, but you do have the option to record servos on different tracks and it will combine them together. We're not going to need that for this, so I'll show you that in a future video. And if that's not a good reason to subscribe, I don't know what is. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Here's the final result.
Surgery's done. Tell me, how does it feel?
Oh, finally I'm talking.
Feels good, right?
You were supposed to do this last year. You stuck me on a stick.
Sorry?
I deserve better than that.
I mean, I guess.
Ah! Listen to my words. You will do as I say. You will fix all the other skeletons to be like me. We will then take over the world together.
I will do as you say.
Wait, why can't I move my head? I can't move anything, just my mouth. Hey, Chubby Man, come back. I still need you. Oh, stupid.
And there it is, your ultra posable, now talking skeleton, set off by a sensor. What more could you ask for? Maybe some movement? If that's the case, stick around because we've got more coming. If you do want to follow along, you're going to want Addicore's, it's called the Boffintronics Receiver Recorder Board 2. And you're also going to want Steve Koci's do-it-yourself RC controller. Together, there's a lot these can do. We're just touching the surface. It's a new year. There's limitless possibilities. But time's going to go fast. So we have to keep going. So everyone, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. This channel would be nothing without you. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe if you're new. And of course, I'm Scare Dad. Spooky season's coming, so go get ready.
You will all listen to my voice. You will follow along Scare Dad's videos, and you will make your skeletons come to life too. And please, somebody go find that chubby man. I can't sit like this forever. What if he goes to an all-you-can-eat buffet? I might never see him again. Please, go find him. Help!